From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm David Augustine. Prime Minister Mark Carney will be in Toronto today to make an announcement related to defense and security priorities. The announcement is set to take place this morning, with Carney touring a local military facility and then holding a news conference later this afternoon. It comes as defense ministers from NATO countries met in Brussels last week to discuss raising the member spending target on defense to as much as 5% of GDP. Carney has promised to move up Canada's deadline for meeting the 2% threshold from 2032 to 2030 or sooner. The U.S. ambassador to Canada is affirming that the NATO military alliance means that allied countries come to each other's defense. Pete Hookstra says the U.S. sees Ottawa as a key partner in defense and energy security, despite President Donald Trump suggesting Canada is free-riding on American defense of the continent. Hookstra says Americans have never forgotten the role of Canada in the Afghanistan mission, which was led by the United States.
America was very appreciative of the investment and the sacrifice that Canada was making to stand alongside of us. And in that case, they were fulfilling the commitment that they made to NATO that when one of us is attacked, we are all attacked, and we will defend each other.
Hookstra says Canada's shortfall in meeting the NATO alliance spending target has been an irritant in the relationship, but Washington does not have a set number for Canada to promise at the alliance's meeting later this month in the Netherlands. Some of the world's biggest streaming companies will argue in court today that they shouldn't have to make contributions toward Canadian content and news. The companies say they are fighting an order from the CRTC that says they need to pay 5% of their annual Canadian revenues to fund the production of Canadian content. Spotify argued that the contribution requirement amounts to a tax which the CRTC doesn't have the authority to impose. The music streamer also took issue with the CRTC requiring the payments without first deciding how it will define Canadian content. In the U.S., Democrats are slamming the decision from President Donald Trump to mobilize the National Guard in California over the weekend, accusing the administration of severe overreach from the Oval Office.
On Sunday, California Congresswoman Maxine Waters addressing National Guard members after being blocked from entering a federal detention facility to check in on a Union president detained during an ICE raid.
I don't know why you're in my city. You did. The governor was not contacted.
22 Democratic governors have signed a letter condemning the move, labeling it an alarming abuse of power. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
And Lilo & Stitch topped the box office in North America for a third weekend. Studio estimates on Sunday that the Disney film added $32.5 million from theaters in the U.S. and Canada. Second place went to the John Wick spin-off Ballerina, which made $25 million. Starring Ana de Armas, Ballerina came in slightly under expectations despite good reviews and exit polls. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, in the MLS, it was another win for the Vancouver Whitecaps on Sunday. The team overcame a thin roster and a gastrointestinal illness to beat their regional rivals, the Seattle Sounders, 3-0. Veteran defender Ranko Veselinovic says it was a big game for his team.
I'm really proud of these guys tonight, that we found a way in a tough game against tough opponent.
The result extended Vancouver's unbeaten streak to a club record 11 games and put the Whitecaps back on top of the league standings. From the field to the ice rink, where the NHL playoffs get back underway tonight with the Edmonton Oilers and Florida Panthers set to square off for Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Florida is back home following a double overtime win in Edmonton on Friday. Puck drop is 8 p.m. Eastern. And in the NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander tied up their NBA final series with the Indiana Pacers last night with a 123-107 win. Game 3 goes on Wednesday in Indiana. From the Canadian Press, I'm David Augustine.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.